Well, I very often start my lectures by greeting the audience with the sound they would hear if they came with me to Gombe National Park or one of the other forests where chimpanzees live, or even in a zoo. In the morning, you hear this wonderful which is basically, hello, this is me, who's out there? And every single one has their own individual voice, so you know exactly who's calling, and that's how they maintain contact.
This is CNN reporter Chris Morrow, behind the camera, speaking with Dr. Jane Goodall. How are you?
I'm fine.
And you greet people in chimpanzee. Why do you do that?
Because we don't really consider sufficiently the importance of the animal kingdom and that we're part of it. So I like to bring the voices of animals into the space I'm in.
Why is chimpanzee research important?
Chimpanzees are more like us than any other living creature biologically and as far as behavior is concerned. And by learning more about them, we understand more about our evolutionary pathway. And we also learn to be a little humble and realize we are part of and not separated from the rest of the animal kingdom, that our ties with our primate cousins are really, really close.
What do you think about chimpanzee rights, or do they have any?
Well, probably chimpanzees have rights if humans have rights, but although it's fine to be lobbying for animal rights, personally I prefer to really work hard for people taking up their responsibilities as citizens of this planet, realizing that it's not just humans, but also all the other animals who share the planet with us.
What do we still have to learn about chimpanzees?
Oh, so much. I mean, as much about chimps as we do about people, and we're still learning new things after 53 years just in Gombe National Park, because everyone has his own or her own distinct personality, because they can live to be more than 60 years old, because the effects of early experience mixed with genetics, we still have to unravel a great deal about why some individuals behave the way they do, like people.
Do you fear that we'll lose chimpanzees and other primates due to extinction?
We easily could if we didn't work very, very hard to prevent that happening. And that's why I'm traveling 300 days a year, working to protect chimpanzees and their forest homes. And by doing that, we protect the forest, which is the habitat of so many other amazing creatures. And what people are not understanding is the interconnectedness of all life on Earth. We lose the forests at our peril.
And are zoos helping or hurting the cause?
Some zoos are definitely helping. They are working very hard to show animals in as natural a way as possible, to educate the public, to involve the public. Young children can actually sense the beingness of an animal in a zoo if it's done right. But there are other zoos that should be closed, which do not respect the animals or the kind of habitat and conditions that they need.
Do you want to talk about any of those?
Chimpanzees and other animals with, fairly well-developed cognitive abilities, like elephants and bears and all the canines, the dogs and so forth, they suffer terribly from boredom. And so what's been wrong with so many zoos for so long is putting them either alone, very often alone, or just one or two together in bear cages with nothing to do. And of course it gets even worse when they're being used for medical research. But thank goodness the National Institutes of Health is now moving towards really, the first 110 of chimpanzees owned by the government have now gone off to permanent retirement, and others are expected to follow.
You've dedicated your life to chimpanzees. Do you have any other interests?
Hundreds. I couldn't list them all. I mean, all animals. It's not just chimpanzees. It's just that they were the ones that were offered to me at the beginning, and we're still learning about them, so my team is still studying them. But I've spent time studying hyenas, mongooses, warthogs, and now working very, very hard to protect environments and also to educate and to help bring awareness to children around the world.
And what are you saying to the children?
every single day you live, you make a difference, and you have a choice as to what kind of difference you want to make. So our Roots and Shoots program is now in 131 countries. It has members from preschool all the way through university, even some adults like in prisons and among the senior citizens. And it's basically every group chooses 3 projects. They choose it themselves. One to help people, one to help animals, or I should say other animals, and one to help the environment we all share. So because they choose it, roll up their sleeves, get out and take action, that's what gives me the most hope for the future, because everywhere I go, yes, I learn about all the problems which seem to be only getting worse, but at the same time, all these young people with shining eyes wanting to tell Dr. Jane what they've done to make this a better world.
Are they asking you the same questions from here to Nairobi to England, or are the questions different?
Well, obviously some children are more interested in a scientific thing or an artistic. Some children face much more serious problems than others, and they tend to ask questions relating to their particular experience.
And how would you, what would you do to recommend for the parents to get their kids turned on to the environment?
It's often the other way around these days, but still. Well, I think it's very important that parents encourage children to be outside and listen. I mean, my mother used to listen with great interest to everything I told her about what I'd learned about worms or snails, what I saw about birds, that I hid in a hen house to see how an egg comes out of a hen when I was just 4 years old. And in fact, the whole family didn't know where I was. We were staying on a farm in the country, and they'd called the police. Yet when my mother saw me all with shining eyes, excited, covered in straw, she, instead of getting mad at me for going and making them all worried, she sat down to hear this wonderful story. And so just to encourage the child. And my mother wasn't specially, into animals. She liked them, but there was nothing special. But as I say, very often I meet parents who say, well, I recycle, I have to, the kids make me. Or, I buy organic food because my kids don't want to eat anything else.
And last question, how do you want to be remembered?
Well, I want to be remembered as somebody who understood the connectedness of life and embraced and respected not only chimpanzees but other animals, and not only animals but each other. And also as someone who helped people to understand that we really are part of the animal kingdom.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.